Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to demystify one of the biggest, kind of scariest tasks any grad student has to face, writing the PhD thesis. We're going to give you a clear, simple blueprint for how to structure the whole thing.
So, does the very idea of writing a thesis make you feel a little overwhelmed? Yeah. If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are so not alone. It's a totally normal feeling. But what if we started thinking about it differently? Not as just one giant, terrifying paper. Let's reframe this. A thesis isn't just a long paper. No way. Think of it like this. You're an architect, and you're building an incredible argument. It's a structure that you design and construct logically, one solid piece at a time. And every good building project starts with a really solid blueprint. And here it is. This is that blueprint. This is the classic 6-chapter journey. You've got your foundation in the intro, you survey the landscape with the lit review, you gather your toolkit and the methodology, then you have the raw build with your results, interpret it in the discussion, and finally, the grand unveiling in the conclusion. Each step has a job to do, and this is our roadmap for today.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to lay the foundation with Chapter 1, the introduction. This is basically the front door to your entire project. Its number one job, to grab the reader from the very first page and convince them that your research absolutely matters.
And your intro is doing some serious heavy lifting here. You have to kick things off with a clear rationale, like why should anyone care about this topic? Then you have to pinpoint the exact gap in our knowledge with a sharp problem statement. From there, you state your purpose and your specific research questions. Explain who actually benefits from your work, and finally, draw a clear line in the sand defining the scope of your study. Every single one of these pieces is absolutely crucial.
You know, a really powerful problem statement does so much more than just say, hey, there's a hole here. It explains why that hole is a big deal. Just look at the language here. It says the gap is consequential. Why? Because teachers can't make informed decisions. That's a real-world problem. And then you see that perfect pivot. Therefore, this study aims to investigate. Bam! That's how you create a sense of urgency and justify your entire project. All right, our foundation is poured. Now it's time for Chapter 2, where we survey the landscape with the literature review. And listen, this is not just a boring summary of every book you read, please. It's where you officially step into the ongoing conversation happening among scholars and show exactly where your work fits in.
Now, here's a super important point, something a lot of people get mixed up. You've got to know the difference between your theoretical framework and your literature review. Just think of the framework as your intellectual lens. It's the theory you're using to see and make sense of everything. The literature review, on the other hand, is the scholarly context. It's what everybody else has already said. One is your personal lens, the other is the landscape you're looking at.
Okay, on to Chapter 3. This is where we gather our tools for the job, the research methodology. You can think of this chapter as the super detailed, totally transparent recipe for your research. It's the how-to guide, where you explain every single tool you used and every step you took with perfect clarity. The goal here is to create this golden thread that runs through your whole method. Look how every single choice, from the type of data you collect to how you analyze it, has to link directly back to a specific research question. There are no random moves here. It's a clean, clear chain of logic that justifies everything you did. And now we're getting to the real heart of the whole project, Chapters 4 and 5. This is where you actually do the building and then step back to interpret it. You present your raw findings, and then you explain what it all means. These two chapters are a team, for sure, but they have very, very different jobs.
Okay, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. This is the big one. Chapter 4 is simply what you found. That's it. It's the objective, systematic report of the facts. Just the data, the charts, the stats, no interpretation. Then comes Chapter 5. This is what it all means. This is where your voice, your expertise comes through. You interpret the data, you connect it back to the theory, and you answer that all-important question, so what?
And at last we arrive at the grand unveiling. Chapter 6, the conclusion. This is your moment. This is where you step back from the entire structure you've built, synthesize everything, and confidently state your original contribution to your field.
So what does a killer conclusion actually do? Well, it delivers on all these points. Sure, you give a quick recap of your findings, but then you immediately start looking outward. You explain the implications for the big theories in your field and for people in the real world. You're also honest about the study's limitations, and you point the way forward, telling future researchers where they should focus their efforts next.
And really, this is what it's all about. All the research, all the writing, It should all build toward a statement as clear and confident as this one. A sentence that precisely articulates your unique contribution. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to answer the question, what did you find? It's to answer, what new piece of the puzzle have you given us? And that is what a great thesis delivers.